Oh,
I'm
Hello
interested.
and welcome to Biofitwithus. A few big changes on the cards. Gary, do you want to fill people in? What's happened?
Fucking hell, Kyle, man. Just straight in at the deep end with no armbands there, eh?
I hope you can swim.
Yeah, well, Kyle's pointed out the obvious change in our profile picture for the episodes now. Now, I've not actually figured out if I can change the actual name of the podcast yet. Hopefully we can. But I'll look into that. But yes, uh, it turns out that I am now a biofitness coach. Kyle has decided to. He feels sorry for me a wee bit, and he's trying to help me pay the bills.
Have you on board, mate? Welcome to the team. So yes, Gary is on board. We also have, go on, Shannon.
No, I'm back.
So back by popular demand, we thought, why not combine the podcast? Considering we're all working for biofitness, let's smash it all into your top 5% of podcasts all in one go.
Yes. How does it make you feel, Kyle, that one of your longtime friends is now under your employment?
Genuinely buzzing. I said it since day one. Like, I didn't actually plan to have either of yous. Like, I fucking love yous both, but I didn't plan to have either of yous as coaching. When Shannon first said to me that she was thinking about coaching, I was like, she possesses a lot of the attributes that I'd love to see, and I'd love to have her on board if it is something she considered. And here she is, a year and a half later, absolutely smashing it. But
My
I've
head's getting
always
very big.
I've always had in the back of my head, I was like, do you know what? Like, if I ever was to expand, it needs to be the right person. And I think similar to Shannon, since knowing you, mate, you've had absolutely everything that I would be looking for in terms of somebody that I'd love to work alongside. So, genuinely, not just the fact I like you, but the fact that you possess a lot of the things, mate. I'm very excited to have you on board. Albeit you could be sacked within the first month. You're still on probation. You're not even officially starting until the 10th of August or whatever it is. But yeah, glad to have you on board.
Excellent, mate. Thank you very
He's
much.
always threatening to sack people. Don't mind him.
I hear he is a bit of an asshole boss, but we can deal with that.
Oh, we'll just bitch about him in the staff room.
Be taking you both to HR.
There was something
Jen.
that I was gonna say there, but I got a wee bit distracted. I can't remember now. If it comes back to me, I will mention it.
Cool. Well, you did say that you had a question to ask both of us at the start. You
Yeah.
want to leave that, or do you
No,
want?
no, let's do it. It is a gym based question. Deadlifts, should they be in back day or leg day?
I'm going to answer. Do you want? Can I go first, Shannon, or do you want to
Yeah, you go first.
I've not done a back day or a leg day for about 10 years, mate. So I don't do my training like that. But to answer your question, if you were splitting it up into body parts, I would probably put it in back day rather than leg day, simply because the demands on how much recovery it would have on your lower back probably would take a lot longer than if you put it into a leg day. So I'd say it'd have more an effect on like the resulting fatigue over the next couple of days. That's my argument, but you could put it in either. I have put it on both when I used to do them on.
Yeah, yeah.
What about you?
To be fair, I've not done chest day, back day in a long time, but I did see on Instagram that someone was doing a chest and back day. One of the guys that I follow, and he started with deadlifts. And it just got me thinking, like for me personally, a deadlift's always been a lower day kind of move.
Yeah, I would have went lower as well. I've never done a back day
I
or
think
anything like that.
I think if you're going to split it into upper lower, then it goes with lower. But I think if you're going to put it into, for me, if you're still doing chest and back and buys, whatever it is, whatever, great. And to be fair, I do miss that type of training. I'd love to just go back to that. But I think you probably do need to train upwards of like 5 times a week. And with that, it probably, I don't know. I just the fact that somebody's doing deadlifts in like a chest and back day, fair play to them. Full stop. Don't really see many people doing that these days. So yeah,
I know, I know. I remember back in the day, like back in late teens, early 20s, when it was all about, chest on a Monday, back on a Tuesday. Like deadlift would generally be a staple in back day. But obviously, the more and more that I've learned about deadlifts and the more that I have actually started doing them a bit more properly and using my legs rather than it just being all back, it did get me thinking, and I do see it as Yeah, personally, as a lower slash kind of leg day movement, although obviously the lower back and majority of the back, if you do it properly, does take an absolute rinsing. I just thought I would throw it out there and ask the question.
Was it a trap bar deadlift or a barbell deadlift?
No, it was a conventional barbell.
Fair play. Speaking of, before we move on, deadlifts, both of you seem to be absolutely smashing the deadlifts over the last week or
We're
so.
over the fear.
Well, doing all right, yeah. I seen Shannon setting the bar very high last week, and I thought, fucking hell, I need to raise my game here if I'm coming on board with Biofitness.
That was part even
You're
so.
not allowed to be a shite bag. That's the rules, apparently.
Yes, I know. Pretty sure I called you a shite bag as well at some point.
Yeah, I think everyone's called me a shite bag at this point.
I was going to say there's two parts of the induction. One of them is a decent deadlift, and the next part's the naked twister. But we'll leave that for a different day.
I'll leave you two to do that one.
Well, I don't know how that's going to work virtually.
Yeah, we'll need to organise an in-person business expense twist. Wait till I get to the accountant and they're like, how's that business expense? Wait till I show you.
Next podcast episode is going to be wild, isn't it?
Nobody fucking leaves because they've got
It'll be
overtime.
live.
Yeah. That's your notice, mate. Anyway, look, I think this episode, it was only fitting considering this is the first Biofitwithus episode that we actually opened up a forum to allow some of the guys who the coach to ask questions. So compiled a list of questions that I think will be good to get everybody's opinion on. I'll kick it off if we're happy enough.
Amen.
It's happy enough because I know we've kind of sent it into the group chat so we can all see it. But are you happy enough if I just kick off a question? Are you?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Cool. Controversially, I'm starting with question number 2 because question number 1 looks like it could be quite hard, which is probably avoiding the point. But we'll get back to it. What's the best approach to getting back on track after being sick or missing training?
Good question. Thanks for whoever sent that one in. For me personally, don't overthink it. I know that sounds really fucking wishy-washy and cliche, but genuinely, I think a lot of us fall into the trap of either being on it or off it, right? You're either all in or you're not in at all. And I think that catches us all by surprise. And when we are coming back from missing training for a while or we're coming back from sickness, we feel like we have to just completely switch everything on altogether. We need to get right back into it. We need to pick up from where we left off, which isn't true. As long as we start to gradually bring ourselves back up to the point that we were at before the sickness or before we took a wee hiatus from the gym, one step at a time, it's going to be a lot more manageable. The way I like to see it is, or the way I've started describing it to people in recent weeks, is see our health and fitness journey rather than a switch on off, see it like a dial. Sometimes you need to turn the dial down. Other times you can really focus on turning the dial up. Now, you don't need to go from 0 to 100 with the dial. You can go from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. And that's the way I would approach it. I would focus on what you have the capacity to do, especially after sickness. Like your body's been through a hell of a lot. If you've fought off, I'll use COVID for the sake of this example, right? If you've had COVID for 1 to 2 weeks, it's very heavy on your respiratory system. The last thing you want to be doing is get right back into running a fucking 5K, trying to do a high rock simulation, trying to do high rep squats, high rep deadlifts, because it's just going to absolutely fuck you right up. So what you want to do is turn the dial from 0 to 10. Break yourself in gently, maybe do what you feel capable of doing. If you feel like you can handle your food first before your exercise, why not focus on that first? Once you start eating a wee bit better, you automatically start to feel a wee bit better. Then you can introduce one gym session, maybe 2 gym sessions a week. If you feel good after a couple of weeks, introduce that third gym session. But what I wouldn't do is go from 0 to 100 immediately.
Class. Yeah, for that. Sharon, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, I would just say baby steps. There is absolutely no point, like Gary said, bombing it, trying to be on top of it all after being sick, because you're just going to make yourself worse. As girls, we tend to have to dial in and dial up every fucking week or every fucking day at this point, depending on what way your uterus is, guys. But Yeah, I kind of know myself when to push and when to pull back. So it goes the same with sickness. It doesn't matter if it's a head cold or COVID or you get an injury. Just if you have to pull it back, there's nothing wrong with doing that.
Think I feel that a lot of people tend to have though is if they don't dial it right up to 100, then they're going to lose all the progress that they made
Mm.
before they get sick or before they took that little hiatus. And it's, well, I was doing this before and it was making me progress, so I need to go straight back to doing that. Catch themselves short, probably hurt themselves again, run themselves into the ground. They end up more sick than they were before. And then they think they're fucking broken. What's the point? I'm just going to stop. I'm going to give it up. And then that's when they start to fall back into bad habits.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only thing, like, is just to reiterate what you've said, is sickness is still a stress in the body, and with that, like, your body can only deal with a certain amount of stress. So it's quite normal when you come back that you're not going to be firing off in fifth gear. What I would say is the fear of losing things. Like, the science is clear, you're not going to lose any strength or muscle, providing you're following a high enough protein diet. Like, the rate of muscle and strength loss is so slow. You're talking, you could probably get, most people can get away with 3 weeks without training, without actually losing any actual muscle mass. Yeah, your muscles might swell down a little bit through you're not getting a wee pump on and stuff, which for most of the guys that I train drives them a wee bit crazy. But yeah, it takes one gym session to get a wee bit of blood flow back in there and feeling good. Cardiovascular fitness, we can't dress it up any other way than you will lose cardio fitness really quickly. But the con to that is you lose it quickly. The pro to that is you can gain it back really quickly as well. Science can actually say you can double your cardio fitness depending on how well trained you are with just one session. So I would probably rule of thumb go back and kind of move at like a 6 to 7 out of 10, even if that feels like excessively light or kind of low stress to start off with, and just see how you recover and then build from there. You can always add, it's harder to take away. I heard somebody
Aye.
actually talk about makeup, using a makeup analogy, saying that you can, it's easier to add than take away. And I was like, you know what, that works in training too. Like
That
that.
does actually work, yeah.
That works in training. Just to expand off of you saying people can usually go for about 3 weeks before they start losing muscle and strength. Even when you do start losing muscle, it's very, very slow as well. So don't panic if you have had 3 weeks out. It's fine. You'll get it back very quickly.
Yeah,
It goes off slow, but you gain it back double speed.
yeah. Gary, you were the first to answer the question, so I was going to ask, do you want to choose another question? Do you have the list in front of you, or do you want me just to go
I
through it?
will choose another question. My question is this Biofit with us episode 1, or is it still episode 67?
Well, see, that's the thing. So technically, it's a bit of a rebrand. I was thinking about this all morning, and a bit like yourself, mate, not had a lot of sleep and overdone the caffeine. And every part of me is like, well, technically, it's Biofitness episode or Biofit episode 1, but then it's still like 60.
Aye.
Don't know. We'll have a discussion of this off air. But
New
Yes.
season.
Yeah, new season. There we go. Season 2, episode 1, done.
yeah, I kind of feel like maybe a new season. I don't know. Dragon Ball went from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, even though it's got the same characters in it, and then it went to Dragon Ball GT. So I don't know if we should go for the anime version. I like Dragon Ball. Anyway, never mind. Uh,
I digress. Right,
That's
serious
a
question.
boy conversation.
Serious
you
question.
talked about uteruses.
I'm gonna I'm gonna ask this question, right? Because I think it's something that a lot of people do tend to struggle with. Right now, I'm fucking knee deep and struggling with it. All right, and it's something that I mentioned to you earlier, Kyle, and it's about sleep. How should I approach training when my sleep has been terrible, but I still want to show up?
Chan, I'm going to let you go first. Go on.
Oh, me. Me who's not getting good sleep either, but does not have a baby to take care of. Just me, myself, and I am the problem. Um, Again, knowing when to push and knowing when to pull. Like there are some mornings where you might have just gotten 3 or 4 hours sleep. Is it worth going to that session to absolutely buckle yourself that day? Or would it be better to catch up on the rest that you might actually need and then take it on the following day when you have a little more energy in your system? That's kind of how I'm approaching it at the moment. Again, I have no children to use as my excuse. I am my own problem when it comes to my sleep. But yeah, just kind of not being on it all the time anymore. Like I used to think that I had to go train regardless of getting little to no sleep, not having the energy, showing up, the session being horrendous. throwing my toys out of the pram because things weren't moving the way I wanted them to move, instead of just saying, you might need the rest today and that's okay. You can
Mhm.
still do, your steps. You could do a week cardio session. I did that during the week. I didn't get great sleep. So instead of going in and trying to deadlift 120 kg, I was like, right, I'll do my cardio today because I'm not allowed to run either. There's a lot of limits on me right now. So I did 25 minutes on the bike instead. And that's all I could do that day, and I was happy enough with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when people use the term as showing up for themselves, it always automatically everybody's head goes to exercise. But what about showing up for yourself nutritionally? Like, why not just focus on staying well nourished rather than feeling like you have to go in and fucking hammer yourself in the gym when you are sleep deprived, when you don't have great sleep. Sometimes a really good, healthy, nutritious, full of vitamins, full of minerals meal can actually makes me feel fucking better. I don't know about you guys, like I feel so good after a really good meal because let's be honest, when your sleep is shite, cravings are super intense, hunger levels are up, you want to go to the shop and get fucking Percy Pigs or Sour Patch Kids, all the delicious tasting foods. You want to just phone a takeaway. Concentrate on showing up for yourself nutritionally rather than you feeling like you always need to show up for yourself physically, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I actually was about to say I've seen so many good people with great intentions actually fuck it for themselves because they get so het up about the fact they've not been able to go to the gym or they've slept in or whatever they've missed a day or two, and all of a sudden everything that's a catalyst for everything to go by the wayside. And I'm like, you've got your goal was to lose 30 kilos. And I was like, you can do that without going to the gym. If anything, like we could lose 30 kilos probably faster if you didn't go to the gym in some cases. Not saying that it's the right way to do it, but I'm like, the gym session, it should complement and be an anchor point. In saying that, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Like I put this on my story this week. It was like, you asked me a year ago, even if I was shattered, I'd go to the gym and I'd just look at the numbers I did last week and I would do everything in my power to hit them, and there'd be no exceptions to that. Whereas like this year, they've very much stripped things back. Like on Monday, I was like, I'm feeling shattered. I have been. I've noticed a trend in that. I'm going to take Monday off, in which every part of me didn't like that at all. Because I'm like, cancelled a session that I had, which I lost money for as well. My week, I'm in my head, I'm going, it's not setting my week up great. But you know what? I took a day's rest. On Tuesday, I went to the gym and substantially lifted numbers that were far heavier and better than I had for the past couple of weeks. I'm like, well, it shows you how much I actually did need that. Whereas if I had just gone to the gym on Monday and forced my way through it, I'd have probably, yes, I would have ticked off a box. But at the same time, at what cost? I've looked at it and the numbers wouldn't have been any better. I wouldn't have actually seen any progress. And then I'd have been stuck in that cycle of just having to do more rather than better. If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Would you recommend people that even if they did want to go to the gym and do some form of kind of resistance work, some form of strength training, would you recommend that they go but don't compete with last week's numbers? Like maybe just go through the motions, strip the weight back a wee bit, almost do like a bit of a deload?
Yeah, I think there's sometimes could be nothing better than actually just going and similar to like what I touched on when you're not feeling well, like strip it down to a 6 or 7 out of 10. Like should probably feel just above a warm up, like enough for you to move, but it's low stress. Like you will feel genuinely better. And who knows if you're there and you find that the first set or two you've moved a bit and you start to feel that you can push a bit more, then push it a bit more. But like don't go in with the expectation that you're going to set the world alight.
Aye. Use me as an example today. I trained Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now, bear in mind, my routine is completely flipped on its head this week because I'm covering holidays in the gym. So I'm rather than starting at 4 o'clock at night, I'm starting at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm up at 3:30 for the wee man's night feed, so I'm just staying awake from 3:30 in the morning, going straight to work, doing my shift. Don't get me wrong, like by the time I come to train in the morning, a couple of mornings it's been 8 o'clock in the morning, a couple of mornings it's been about 11 o'clock. I'm more awake. I've got a couple of coffees and a can of Monster in me by 9 a.m. So I'm flying by that time. But today it's caught up with me, and I tried to train this morning just after 8 o'clock. I had a wee break in classes. I done my 3 sets of leg curls to warm my knees up for squats. Loaded the bar up and just went, nah.
Yeah,
Done
yeah,
one set and I was like, this isn't even worth the risk of injury because I know in myself that my body needs that rest, and because of the broken slash sleep deprivation, I knew it was just going to be a silly thing to do. So, going back to the actual initial question, I want to show up for myself every day. That's something that I'm very big on. So I that's why I've focused, and that's why I mentioned about focusing on the nutritional side of things. I've made it my goal today to be fucking on it with my nutrition and my water and make sure I get to bed at a decent time tonight.
Can I also just throw out as a point here as well, because I know different people think differently with things as well. You can still train when you're tired, and by
Hmm.
no means do you need to take an approach where you need to skip a session because you've missed out on sleep. Like there's certainly been times where I've turned up with 3 or 4 hours sleep and had a great session and still moved things. The science is actually pretty much as well. It's like your performance usually is not massively impacted, particularly strength training with sleep. Short term wise, long term it will catch up with you, but short term you can get away with a poor night's sleep and still perform well. What it does affect is your rate of perceived exertion, so how hard you think things are. So as much as you might be able to move the same amount of weight or do the same thing, it feels a lot harder. The actual prospect and decision making of going to the gym in the first place feels a lot heavier. Like everything feels harder. So it's not, you can still go whilst tired for anyone else. It's not like you wake up, and I used to be the guy who looked at my watch being 17 and having tons of sleep at the time, going, if I got less than 8 hours sleep, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm the place to be able to train today or whatever. Like, you can still train. Like, it's just more of a case of if you are noticing signs where it's starting to become an angst for you, you're overtired, you're noticing the signs that Gary said, where you jump on a whatever it is and you feel everything is genuinely, this is going to be like moving mountains, everything feels 20 or 30 kilos heavier, at that point, yeah, fucking take it down. Or do you know what, do 2 sets of the exercise instead of three, or just do the first 2 exercises and then leave. Like, do whatever suits best.
Aye, do something you enjoy. Do something that isn't going to cause you unnecessary stress.
Correct, yes. um
Shannon, do you want to ask a question? Okay, we got to say something there. Sorry.
I was going to say what you said, mate. You just said it in a Gary accent.
Oh,
Excellent.
it's my turn to ask a question. Okay, let me get the list.
Yes. By the way,
Woohoo.
just while Shannon's looking at the list, Kyle, I don't know if you'll remember this, right? But it popped up on, for some reason, it popped up on my feed yesterday, and it took me right back to like 20 years ago. Do you remember? Now, this went fucking viral. Like, do you remember the Crazy Frog Bros? And it was the two wee guys with, the two wee brothers with glasses dancing to the Crazy Frog tune.
No, I don't know.
You do, oh my God, you have to watch it. I actually watched it again 5 minutes before we got on this call, and it just makes me so happy. YouTube, Crazy Frog Bros original. You have to watch the original one, right? The guy in the red t-shirt has the best moves I have ever seen in my life. I can see Kyle typing this in right now. But honestly, everybody listening, Crazy Frog Bros original, 18 years ago. It's got like almost a million views. That's the one you need to watch because there is a few different ones, but you need to watch the original video. It's like 240p. That's how fucking old the video is.
I remember paying for the polyphonic ringtone several times.
Yeah.
And it used to take a while to actually deliver it to you as well. So I paid for it like 3 or 4 times in a row, being impatient. Crazy Frog Bros, spending a tenner on a polyphonic ringtone. Well,
Brilliant. Back in the day, man. Back in the day. Right,
Shan,
sure.
have you got your question?
He's distracted me because I was trying to listen to you, so I look for a question. So I'll go with
Oh.
the first one I see. Um, what's the smartest way to handle untracked meals or I hate this word, cheat days without spiraling off plan?
I think
Smartest way. Sorry,
I
you go.
I think setting expectations for what you want in the first place, because not every social event and not every weekend is going to be created equally. So you being groomsman at your best mate's wedding is going to have a very different outcome and expectation than you having a Friday night watching something on TV, or it should do anyway. But I think the expectations of what you're wanting from it in the first place, there's sometimes it's okay for, like, if your goal's fat loss, for a weekend in a fat loss phase, not to the ultimate goal being fat loss and setting expectations around that. At that point, probably looking at just some healthy habits. If your expectations of the weekend, for instance, are you've got 4 things on over the weekend and you still want fat loss, then the approach to that's going to be very, very different. And there's lots of different tools you can do amongst that, and I'm sure we can go into it. But I would probably say the first thing I would do is set expectations so that we know what we're actually aiming for in the first place, and you being okay with the outcome or perceived outcome at the back end of it.
100%. What about I'm just looking at the question from a different angle, right? What about if it's an unplanned, untracked meal? So what if it's something that's been thrown on you and you have went out for dinner and you've not planned to go out for dinner? What would be the best way to handle that and bounce back from it without the fear of spiraling coming to fruition?
I think the element of choice is going to be a big one. I think, firstly, do you have an element of choice? Because it's a very different scenario. You going to sit down last minute at dinner plans because you're not going to get home in time and you've decided to make an experience of it, versus you turning up to a relative's house and getting thrown a plate of pasta in front of you. And like, I'll go through both scenarios. I think, firstly, if you're going to a restaurant, chances are they'll have some form of lean protein dish. I would probably opt for, like, fillet steak is always going to be both the most expensive and probably the most calorie, like, to protein ratio, the best option there. But with that, some like leaner meat, chicken, whitefish, something alongside that. Probably looking at like portion size being like closed fists. Like, you can't control that, but you probably will see that most of it will be about that size. And then for a carbohydrate source, I would probably look at, like, if you can get baby boils, are always a good shout, because again they're less likely to be fried, covered in butter or whatever, and just ask for sauces and sides on the side. I think making choices like that can massively help, because a lot of people straight away, like, and I've seen it for years, as soon as it's like it's off plan, it's like, oh, we're way off plan, we may as well, if I'm going to a restaurant, I may as well get chicken wings followed by ribs followed by an ice cream, and then my weight's going to go up 3 kilos the next day, so I fucked it, so I'm going to spend 3 days having a pity party. And like, there are better ways to deal with it than that. You still have an element of choice there, and like, whilst the calories and the salt intake's probably going to be higher than what your normal meal is, and there probably is going to be a bit of fluctuation in the scales the next day, you've by absolutely no means fucked it. I would also, in today's day and age, think that you can use AI to help you. Like, firstly, we're all biofitness team, we're here to help you in terms of like, send pictures, and even if you're not part of the biofitness team, you listen to us, send us pictures of food, fuck it, we'll help you.
I love food.
We know, Shannon, you talk about it often enough.
I do.
But I think just actually sending a picture of your food can give you as more of an objective view, but you can do it with AI as well. I wouldn't use AI for everything in tracking, but more so just the fact that if you're having an off-plan meal, it gives you more of an objective view. I know this is a long-winded point. If you're turning up to an auntie's house or a mum's or parents, whatever, like whoever's house it is, you're going to your partners and whatever their parents are making you dinner or whatever the fuck it is, and you just get presented with, there's a bowl of pasta or whatever. I think just accepting the fact that, you know what, food's more than just fuel. You're probably going to cause offence by saying, fuck off, I'm not eating that. Realistically, you're not going to get invited back if you tell them that you're on a diet. So I think just actually sucking it up and whatever, like looking and going, do you know what it is what it is. Chances are it's probably somewhere between 700 and 1,100 calories. Like, just track it for what it is, accept the fact that you're going to be up a little bit the next day, but like, one meal out of like 7 days that's been off track isn't going to, literally is not going to break your progress.
Aye, that was what I was going to say. Like, unless you're competing to be in a bodybuilding show or you're cutting weight for some event or some fight, stop fucking worrying about one meal at your auntie's house. See if you do have an untracked, off-plan meal, cheat meal, whatever you want to fucking dress it up as, make sure your very next meal is as on point as you can get it. That is how easy it is to stay quote unquote on track. That is it. You don't like you mentioned there about people spiraling when they do have that one meal, they feel like, well, I'm off plan, so fuck it, blah blah blah. That goes back to what I was mentioning earlier about the switch. Like, people have that switch in their head. If they have one off plan meal, then the switch goes off. That's me. I've fallen off the wagon. The fucking wagon. Um, Whereas if you can reframe it and be like, it's perfectly okay, but I need to make sure that my next meal is on point as I possibly can make it. That's you. You're back on that fucking track that everybody wants to be on.
The only thing I would add to that as well is if you want to look at positives for it, you're likely to be stronger the next day as well. So I would probably embrace that and maybe in your gym session or make sure you are timing a gym session for the next day. Does two things. One, you'll be stronger, which is quite nice from a training perspective, but two, it also reframes those good habits again where you're back at it so that you're not leaving it too long without feeling that you're doing the habit side of things again.
You also might even sleep better that night.
All of the positives, yes, 100%.
So yeah, eat your food.
Shannon loves
And
food.
don't call it a cheat meal.
Yes, I know. Like,
It
where
really
did that
drives me
term
wild.
come from? Did that term come from like other coaches just trying to dress up the fact that, um, I don't know, that they're over restricting their clients and they're trying to dress it up as, oh, you're allowed this. When in
Yeah.
reality, you fucking are allowed that realistically every day of the week as long as you do it sustainably, as long as you do it within reason. I don't recommend going out and buying a Domino's every single day. But don't dress it up as good and bad food. Don't dress it up as you are not allowed this because you're wanting to lose a few pounds for your fucking for your holiday in 6 months' time. I think coaches nowadays, if you can even call them coaches, especially online coaches who just put fit or PT at the end of their name and they don't have actually any qualifications with sustenance, like it's very fear mongering. What were you smiling at?
I just feel like there's probably not. I just felt you had somebody in mind there when you were saying that. If we had
A few people did pop in, but I wasn't going to name any names. But yeah, it's just fucking
We
fear
don't call
mongering.
people out.
There is no, I mean, yeah, we can be controversial, but we'll leave the name calling to another podcast.
Slide into the DMs if you want the names, though.
I think like just for a moral and whatever standpoint of things, I have no issue with calling out behaviours. I just think it probably doesn't ever go down well calling out people rather
Yeah,
than behaviours. Like behaviours is fine. It's fine to
Mm.
say that something happened and you seen it, but like I wouldn't go down slating. It's the easiest thing in the world to slate
I
off.
wouldn't put up a fucking story saying Kyle Watson, blah, 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 come out and fight me. Like, no, I think that's just ridiculous. I think it's so childish.
I'll change my name to Kyle Watson Fit.
yes, dot fit.
Go back to PT. Right. Shannon, do you have anything that you want to add to that? Sorry, before I move on, just don't want to be rude on that.
No, I very much agree with you, and I think people need to be conscious of the language that they use around food as well. Like the reason I don't like the word cheat meal is literally like cheating. It's bad. You're associating the foods that you're having on that day as bad. You wouldn't cheat on your partner, so why would you cheat on your food? You can have food. You just need to be able to keep it accountable.
When doing cardio, is it better to track calories burned using your watch or rely on the machine's estimate?
Fucking
Neither.
neither. Get calories burned
I
in the fucking bin.
I'll
did have a woman text me one day. I put up my steps or something like that on my stories, and she goes, "How did you burn so many calories?" And I was like, "The fuck's this one on about?" Like, I didn't even know what it was on my watch she was looking at. And she was like, "Up in the corner, you burnt like it was something like 2,000 calories." She's like, "How'd you do that?" And I was like, "I don't think that's real. Like, I was cleaning the house."
That's how you burn 2,000 calories. You keep your
Yeah,
NEAT nice and high.
just
You live, you breathe, you function. That's how you burn fucking calories.
generally did not leave the house that day. I cleaned it. That's all I did.
You must have been fucking power washing those windows, like
Absolutely not bare minimum.
putting some elbow grease into into that
Sweep
cleaning.
under the sofa, being like, "That's next week's problem."
No, I would say to answer the question, right, because the question, am I right in saying, was asking what is better?
I'm just going to add some context to this question because I think it came along the lines of I had set somebody a calorie target to aim for as a distance instead of having distance or time.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was do a certain amount of calories to just standardize their expenditure for it. I've missed an absolute belter repeat bit with my beard there, but never mind. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Here, at least you've actually got the time to do my beard. I've been trying to shave mine for 4 days, and every time I come home from work, I'm just too fucking tired.
At least you can actually grow a decent beard, mate. I just look like Shaggy at best, and then like
Come on.
half beard at whatever.
I look like a wee J. I look like a bum. I look like I should be sleeping on a stank.
There's so many Scottish words here that I feel like I'm going to have to explain. This podcast is going to
Aye.
end up just being an
Fucking try and decipher that one, Adam.
that there's going to be a podcast 1.5 of just me having to explain everything that Gary said in terminology.
I don't
I'm
even
just
think
gonna have
AI
to
is
go
going
to
to be able
school
to
in
keep up.
Scotland.
Mate, do you remember way back when at the start, I think it was within the first kind of 10, 15 episodes, that AI just had no fucking idea what we were saying when we were making the wee clips. And it was just an absolute car crash of subtitles.
I got banned from that app just simply because it couldn't understand. I think the machine just blew up and was like, no more of this. Thank you. I'm not ready.
Back to the question.
So I was just giving you, because you're about to go, and I was like, just to give context of the reason that we're looking at calories in the first place was because I set a calorie target for them. So I think their question is based on if they are chasing a calorie target, what is best to look at?
Mhm.
Is it the machine or is it through a device that they're wearing?
Um, I would personally say neither of them are accurate. However, if you can, let's say you've got a Fitbit on, you can actually go into the Fitbit app and you can set your height, your weight, a lot more information than what maybe a treadmill knows. Although you can do that in some treadmills, you can set your height and your weight and stuff like that. But I would probably go with the watch.
I go to a,
Mhm.
I go to a state of the art gym, mate, and I struggle to put the TV on in the treadmill. Never set my height and weight on it. So, um, Sharon, sorry, I interrupted you. What were you going to say?
No, I would have said device as well, because if I'm brutally honest, I just press start on the machine and I just go.
Yeah.
I don't fiddle about with all the different options.
So, all I would add to that is I think whatever it is, just be consistent with it. So the thing that will fuck your progress most is the fact if 1 week you're looking at the calories on your watch and then the next week you're doing it on the treadmill and then you're back to your watch and your treadmill, that's where there's going to be variability in it. What I would probably look at is I do mine on my watch simply because I'm like, if I've got let's say I have to run and I have to do 250 calories, oh sorry, let's say 250 calories that I have to do whatever cycling. It means that I have the watch on when I'm cycling, but if I for whatever reason didn't fancy cycling, I can burn the same amount of calories running with the same watch without having to worry too much about what device it is or whatever. It's just the same device. It's the same amount of calories. It's standardized it, even though it's a different movement or equipment, if that makes sense.
Aye, aye, aye. But try not rely on them. Try not exercise unless it is a specific goal. Um, like Kyle's mentioning there, just to kind of, did you say standardize the calorie burn or the movement?
I think
Um,
so.
don't exercise to burn calories. Exercise to become healthier, to get stronger, to be fitter, to improve your cardiovascular health, to improve your cardiovascular system, to improve your muscle health, body health, joint health, bone density. That's all the reasons that you should be exercising, not just to burn as many calories as possible, to be as light as possible. Now, just off the back of that as well, this is a question that isn't in this list, but I'm going to ask it
Oh,
anyway.
controversial.
Can you eat the calories back that you've burned, and why is the answer no?
Sharon, I'll let you answer that one.
Can you eat the calories back that you've burned already?
Yes. So I don't know if you know this, but if you when you first connect MyFitnessPal, it if you connect it to like a device or your health app on the phone, that will start recording how much calories you've burned through exercise, and then it adds them on to your calories that you can have within
Oh,
the day.
I've actually had someone before say this to me, and I was like, "What are you on
Yeah, yeah,
about?"
yeah.
Yeah, because
So
I think I've just took that straight off. I didn't entertain any of that. I just had my
mhm.
calories, and that was it.
It's
But
so
no,
bizarre that
like,
like a worldwide health app like that helps you track your food automatically has that. You've burned 700 calories, therefore you can eat 700 calories
and
more.
adds it back onto the
Yeah,
app.
yeah, yeah.
It's funny.
Oh no, fuck that.
Aye.
It's funny because today, this morning, I was updating the welcome guide that we're going to send new clients, and on that it has some of the do's and don'ts. And one of the things that I was putting into the welcome guide this morning is when you download My Fitness Pal, is switch off the inbuilt steps that takes away like or adds to your calories. It's funny you mentioned that because it's actually something I was touching on this morning in that welcome guide. But yeah, Shannon, I'm going to let you answer the question.
I know. Sorry, I cut across you, Shannon.
No, you're okay because I was just like, I'm so confused because like just to me it's straight up no, like that it doesn't the maths ain't maths in life.
I would add to that. It's like you're dealing with variables. I know we kind of all touched on it a wee bit without going too deep into it, but the device that you're tracking calories burned in is probably going to be off in the first place. Like it might say you've burned 500 calories, but it could be 300 calories, it could be 700 calories, but realistically, there's going to be an error for margin. The calories you're probably consuming as well are probably inaccurate as well because as we've discovered in the last couple of years, like most foods can get away with being a slight error margin in them as well. So there's error margins in your food and there's error margins in your tracking devices. So what I would say is, let's say for instance your watch has told you you've burned 500 calories and you think that you can eat 500 calories and you decide that you're going to go for a takeaway that night because in your head a chicken curry and ribs is 500 calories when it's actually 1500 calories, but that's a different point for a different day. You're logging that thinking, do you know what, I've got away with that because I've burned 500 calories today. When in actual fact, you burn 300 calories and the Chinese that you're logging is 1500 calories. So you're a surplus of 1200 calories because you think that you've done well going for a cycle. Like, congratulations, Dave. This is why you're up £3 this week.
Fucking hell, Dave.
Dave. Do you know what? So I used to have the avatars on my wall about the characters that we spoke about. So if I ever talking about a male character, it was Dave, and then if it was a female, it was Linda. Changed that now. It's Reset Rachel and no, it's still Despond Dave. Despond Dave and Reset Rachel. Like
Westbound Dave. Nice, nice, nice. Kyle, my eyes keep getting drawn to that bit of your beard now. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm actually the same. You shouldn't have pointed anything out.
do you know what? Gary, I'm going to let you ask a question, and I'm literally going through to the bathroom to just shave it off right now. I'll let you. We're interrupting this part of Fit with us or Biofit with us, so Kyle can first day at the job. Absolutely turned up.
Are
Like,
you actually going to go and shave that?
yeah, mate. I'm not dealing with the fucking heat that
Shave
comes.
it on
No,
Aye, go and get
while
your shaver
recording.
right now. Go.
right. Well, I'll let you get a question whilst I'm doing that.
Come on. I actually do have a good question, and it's because
Go
I
for it.
I enjoy the exercise, right? It's about lunges. More
Oh,
specifically, walking lunges.
I love
Should
a walking lunge.
amazing. Absolutely
Everyone
incredible.
hates them.
And do you know what it is? It's because they are so physically demanding. Like people tend to feel it more in their chest than they do their legs in terms of tiredness. Like it's very fatiguing. And because it's single, like unilateral work as well. Like if you're
Yeah.
doing anything like a split squat or a lunge, it's it feels so much fucking harder because when you compare it to a squat, if you're squatting, 9 times out of 10 we favour the stronger side. The way it's spread, but it's not
But you
completely
always have your
even.
stronger leg.
Exactly, it's not completely even, so you're still favouring a stronger side to help get you up a wee bit more. Whereas with lunges and split squats, you have no fucking choice. You have to use that leg for that weight that you are lifting, and people just find it really exhausting and hard. And that's because it is, but it
Yeah.
is such a rewarding exercise. It's amazing for your quads, it's amazing for your glutes, it's amazing for your core strength as well, depending on where you've got the weight loaded, the weight distributed. If it's a barbell, it's fucking amazing for your already
I'd
core
be a
strength.
dumbbell gal. I love it more with a dumbbell. Barbell, I don't have the balance in life.
Well, you can work up to that, but even a
I know.
dumbbell, good for your grip.
Yeah.
You know what I
And I
mean?
need all the grip
You need all the
for my
grip for
pull-ups
these
to get
big.
there
Oh
eventually.
yes, Kyle shaved about 4 years off his age there. Look at
He's
that.
27.
To be fair,
Now,
after a
I've not
split
actually
test,
got to the question yet, mate. You came back just in time.
I'm interested in what you were saying about dumbbells versus barbells. Like I missed it.
No, we were talking about lunges more specifically, and we were just talking about how much of a fucking incredible exercise they are, but most people tend to hate them because of uh, it being kind of unilateral, single-sided, you can't shift the weight onto your stronger side. You have to use both legs almost evenly. And
There
it's
is a
very
question. There is a question in there that was in the question, so I may as well just
about the lunges. That's what I'm fucking getting to.
like go on and ask your question. Then go on.
We're really passionate about lunges here.
I know. A 5 minute skit about lunges. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So the question was, should your back knee touch the floor during walking lunges, or is just hitting at 90 degrees enough? Shannon, you
I
love
would
lunges. Let me
say
hear it.
I was going straight in. Kyle wasn't getting an option. Back need the touch, and that's just because you're going to get the best range of motion. Now, obviously, if you aren't able to reach that range starting off with, then yes, go to the part that you are able to hit. But ideally, you want to be getting that back knee down. And then your bum will grow lovely. And that I put my glutes down to lunges at this point. Not barbell hip thrusts, not good mornings, all the lunging I've been doing. And yeah, Adam's quite happy with my bum now. So, that's that,
I would
girls.
I would agree. Back knee touching every time. However, we've got lunges in the current program in the gym, and see the fucking force that people smash their knee off the floor. It
Yeah,
genuinely, I feel it in my knees. Do you know what I mean? So when you're lunging, imagine your knees made of glass, right? You want to control it down, and you want to tap it on the floor. You do not want to fly down at the speed of light and absolutely destroy your kneecap.
against
Touch it on the
concrete.
floor.
There's maybe
Hi.
like squishiness there, but underneath, that's just concrete.
Oh,
Like, it's
no,
not
no,
going to
no.
protect it.
Please don't do that. But yes, I would agree. Back knee to the floor if your mobility allows. Another mistake that I see a lot of people making is when they're lunging, they don't bend the back knee enough and it almost becomes more of a hip flexor stretch. Please don't go too wide or too far. We are with your step because it will then become a bit more of a stretch. Take a bit of a shorter step and really focus on bending the back knee. However, the front leg is the one that's doing all the work, but you still want to bend that back knee and push up through the front foot. Do not spring up off the back foot.
Kyle.
I'm just mentally going through what Gary said there. I'm like, yeah, 100. I've never actually like broken a lunge down as much in terms of like not seeing it visually. I'm like so visual. I'm just trying to put it in my head what you're saying. Yeah, yeah,
Did it make sense?
yeah. No,
Yeah,
100. I like the analogy about the floor being glass. Like I use that with trap bar deadlifts. I'm like, if you imagine the floor is like the top of an egg, you just want to crack the top of the egg, but you don't want to smash the egg. You're just literally cracking the top of the egg, cracking the top of the egg. Um, the only thing I would say with any exercise is you want to standardize it. Like, so the worst thing, and sure, this could be a podcast by itself, that any of us probably see in a gym is people just loading weight onto anything and the range of motion getting less and less and less and less and less over time. We've probably anybody listening to this, all you need to do is look at your local 17, 18, 19 year olds who are doing bench pressing and they'll be loading up with like 70, 80 kilos on the bar and it's just like the smallest elbow bend and they'll be high-fiving each other after it and going, there's not a single bit of chest being used. With any exercise, the way to get better at it is to standardize it so that you know that the lunge that you're doing in 3 months' time at a heavier weight is the same range of motion that you got like 3 months before. The best way you can do that is by looking at a point of contact or end point. Being honest though, I've got through most of my life not touching my knee off the floor. I've been very close to it, but I'll be honest, it's only been the last couple of years where I did. And it's actually just because I was a bit of a pussy and didn't want to hit my knee off the ground because they were sore. But I would say as close to the ground as we can. But and like if I was to tell you the textbook answer, yeah, just make sure that you're controlling range rather than like small, slow impact rather than
Yeah.
yeah.
And also stop lunging like you're on a fucking tightrope. Keep your feet hip to shoulder width. Don't step out and in. Step straight forward with your feet a bit hip width.
Out and in. What do you mean by out and in? Sorry.
So let's say this is your legs. When people lunge, they go in. They step forward with their front foot and in. So then it puts one foot in front of the other, and then they're all wobbly and they don't know how they can
They're
balance.
kind of like in an angle then.
Almost. So if you keep your legs, if you keep your feet under your hips, just step straight forward, straight forward, rather than forward and in.
If you can't visually see what Gary's doing at the moment, he's using his hands as his feet, which is not the first time that that's happened, which a few points in him. But it's more or less using his feet as, like, imagine that you're on like a train track where your foot is coming out to one side of the
Yes.
train track and out to the other side of the train track. Anytime it comes into the middle or across the body is where you're going to lose balance. That's really the
That's it. Yeah, yeah. You'll be a lot more stable in your lunge. You won't get to the bottom and feel like you're on a little paddleboard.
joy of wee paddleboard.
Right, I think it's Shannon's question.
Oh, my turn. Let me see.
Should have gave
Okay.
10-minute warning.
What?
Should I give Shannon a 10-minute warning that a question was coming up?
Stop. You're so mean to me. I'm going to report you to the Jen. Um, is it okay to skip specific prep sessions like high rock simulations, or should I always aim to complete them before events?
Fuck Hyrox. No, I'm
Have you
joking.
done a
I'm
high
joking.
rocks?
Have you done a Spartan?
No,
There's the CVs coming out there. So
that means I can't talk about it.
Bit true, yeah.
Game of top
I,
trumps coming out here.
I would probably say in this, obviously I've never done a Hyrox before, but I probably wouldn't be skipping
Say any
simulations.
competition.
Any competition, I probably wouldn't be skipping simulations. I think your body and your mind needs that mental preparation, and an understanding of what's to be expected rather than you just going in dry.
Do you have anything to add
I've
there?
never done a simulation when I've done two high
What?
rocks.
Um,
Yeah.
Holy shit. I mean,
Yeah.
my argument against as well would be that I never simulated Spartan. But I mean, I don't know where you can simulate a half marathon, 30 obstacles assault course.
I think it depends on how specific, relevant, and progressive your training has been, whether or not, or how much you need to simulate it. I think for the likes of a marathon, like, your simulation should be the fact that you've run a long run before it
Mm.
that's 32 to 35 kilometers
Mm.
rather than 42. I, being honest, first two powerlifting competitions I didn't do a simulation before it. Like, whilst there's lots of people who do like a peak and test week and test 6 weeks out to
Mm.
see where they're at, being honest, it's not something I've ever done. I've just looked at it as a, right, I'm going to try and get progressively stronger, and then I will deload and like peak for things as needed. With high rocks, I feel kind of, as much as I've done too, I feel kind of I shouldn't probably be the person to give you the like specific answer on this because it's not exactly my forte. But what I would say on that is the more exposure you get to anything, you should technically, they can only benefit you. I wouldn't hide away from it thinking that you're going to be terrible because it's going to expose what you're not great at. And I would say that with anything. Do you need to do it? No. Can it be helpful? Yeah. Like, I can't see anybody who's ever done a simulation of anything where it is relative how it's going to be negative. I think it's just taking the data, what you get from it, and then implementing it into like your future training, whatever. Did that answer the question? Sorry.
It did. Yeah, yeah. It was a good
Yeah.
answer. I think we all had great points here, but I think the to summarize is uh I guess it's okay to skip. You don't always have to complete them, but you probably should.
Yeah, I think the way I look at any event is, I think the first thing you do is essentially it's like a dartboard. You're just aiming at getting yourself on the dartboard in the first place. You're not necessarily looking at getting a treble 20. Like, it's more of a case of, can I hit something on the dartboard? The better you get at it, then the more you can start to aim for numbers and you can start to be more specific at things. I think at that level, and that's why I'm saying when it comes to high rocks, I'm not as skilled, or it's not something I've ever got so good at that I can give actual like data
Mm,
behind, but I would say like if your expectations for most people, which think they should be, is just actually getting it done, do you need to do a simulation? No. Can it help? Yeah, but
yeah,
you need to no.
100%. And for anybody,
I'm finding them to be a wee bit of a like marketing thing now as well. Like everywhere seems to do simulations, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, that's great, but I don't think you really need it that much.
yeah.
Unless you are someone that's really trying to get a certain time or something like that, then yeah, the more exposure you get to it, belt away. But again, also on the day you can't prep for anything. Like both my hamstrings went. Doing lunges, my favorite thing. I wasn't ready for that.
Even like new gyms that are opening up in Glasgow and stuff like that, they now have a specific high rocks area now.
Oh, yeah, that's all over here at the moment. Every
Yeah,
gym's now a High Rocks gym.
yeah, I know, and it's because High Rocks sells at the minute, and yeah, it's just clever marketing. Fuck, there was something else that I was going to add to that, and I've completely. Oh, for anybody wondering why Kylie's saying he's not an expert or it's not his forte, go on his Instagram and find his High Rocks video. It's fucking hilarious. The man is hanging out with his arse doing burpees.
Still not changed, mate. I
You
I
did
knew.
Dublin pretty well. You carried me for it.
Yeah, no, I did. To be fair, I'm not going to
Yeah.
dress it up, but I done
No,
it.
we'll not dress it up. You gave me 3 weeks' notice. I was like, how do I use this ski machine now? What's this?
Yeah, to be fair, the first one I didn't train at all for really, and the second one that I did train a lot for, but then Shannon got roped in last minute, so really all the training I did for it was I don't want to say pointless, but it was like there was no need for it. It wasn't proving anything to the world, so
We were just making sure I lived.
yeah, made sure you survived. Question for you two. We're going to wrap this up shortly. Do you have time for one more question or do you,
Yeah.
cool. Um, do you have a preference as to who asks a question? Do you want me just to ask a question or
You asked
Just
the
go for
question,
it,
sir.
mate. Yeah, you're the boss.
Your turn.
cool? Okay, right. So, how much protein should I be aiming for and what are the easy ways to get enough when I am not hungry?
Ooh. The hunger part's interesting, but you should be aiming to get at least 1.6 times your body weight in kilograms, at least. To make it easy, just go 1.5 to try and make it a bit of an easier mental calculation to make. Or if you want to do pounds, 1 gram per pound. Super easy, super simple. If you are if you're not hungry and you're wanting to get a bit more in, this is when it does get a wee bit tougher. You do have to be a wee bit more strategic with your meals. For me, the easiest way to get protein in is to drink it. Like you don't have to go through the um, process of making food. You don't have to go through any of the use any energy and fucking chewing food. Or if you're anything like Rachel, you take one chew and swallow, so there's no really chewing involved there, but you still need to prep the food. Um, so drinking it would be, in my opinion, the easiest way. Is it the most beneficial? Probably not. You still want to get good solid protein sources through food, but if you have eaten everything that you can possibly eat in that day, I would, rather than you feeling like you have to have another meal, one recommendation that I would make is to buy a 1.5 litre bottle of water. You can get like Evian, Volvic, whatever it is, and put 2 scoops of clear whey into that. That's going to be 40 grams of protein for less than 200 calories, and you can just sip that throughout the day. Not only are you getting more protein in, you're also getting your water in as well.
Double whammy.
Double whammy. I think that would, if you're struggling to eat another meal, if you're struggling to have literally anything else to eat or drink in the evenings, say we'll just say in the evenings because that's usually when people tend to look at their macros and go, fuck, I've got 50 grams of protein still to eat and I don't feel hungry. You can be sipping that bottle all throughout the day. You're not even thinking about it, and it's an easy 40 grams of protein.
100% agree.
What do
I
you
was
think,
going to
Kyle?
say liquid side is probably your best way
Yeah.
if you're not feeling hungry. Yogurts as well, and then just those easy kind of. I know not many people approve of the processed pooches and stuff like that in Aldi, but it's a very handy way to get 25 grams in. And like you said, you're not even chewing, you're literally like drinking it.
Yeah, and
There's
I
like
would,
milkshakes, there's all these type of things there that are made to make it easier for you to get protein in. Shouldn't be your only source, but it does help a bit when you're not
yeah,
feeling hungry.
yeah, yeah.
See the same people that don't approve of the protein pouches in Aldi. They're also the same people who are drinking like 10 cans and smoking a packet of cigarettes like daily.
Yeah.
Like
I know, I know. Sorry, I've just had Amazon come to the door there, and I'm going
Go
to
away,
open the
Amazon.
window and get it off them, right?
right,
I'm
no
going to open
worries.
the window. Use, I've got something else to add to this. Bear with me.
That's fine. I would the minimum recommended dosage of protein for the general public, I think, according to the health guidelines, are 40 grams per day. It's something.
At the door, mate. All right, cheers.
Do you know what? I'm going to mute him until he comes back because I don't really want to hear his Amazon. But hopefully he's getting something. He's back. He's back.
That was quick.
I've muted you, Gary, because I thought you were having a conversation with the guy in the background.
No, I chapped the window, and he just looked at me and went, "Sat at the door," and walked away.
Rude.
Well, I'm
Can't get
looking out the
customer
window
service
for a
these
fucking
days.
reason. Fucking dickhead. Anyway, sorry. What were you talking about?
I was just going to say the minimum recommendation for, I think, according to public guidelines, is 40 grams per day of protein. Probably a bit of a rant here, but you know what? We'll end on a rant. I was in Aldi the other day and I looked at all the cereal, and the cereal was literally like cookies for breakfast, or you can have like pancakes or whatever it is. And I'm like, well, it's no wonder people think that they can get away with eating healthily when they think that eating cookies for breakfast is the way to go forward. I would say looking at getting protein in each meal is going to be, it's not about as much targets, but more about habits. And I think that's how you break it up for the day. I think Gary and Shannon both brought up a really great point there. Is like, I've got one of these obnoxiously big bottles where I fill it with, to start off with, it'll be just water and creatine in the morning because that gets that part. But then because, again, we go for a high 3 litre per day, I'll fill it up again. And sometimes I do fill it up with protein if I'm running short. But ideally, you want to get your protein from something you can sustain. So I always go breakfast, and I said this time and time out, is oats isn't my favourite breakfast in the world. But what it can do is gives me 40 to 70 grams of oats, and I scoop 2 scoops of protein into it. That way, I'm hitting 50 grams minimum, meal number 1 of the day. It means that, see, if my lunch, do you know what, it is a little bit off the cuff and doesn't have protein in it, it's not going to be the end of the world because I've not got a massively uphill battle. I find that most people get to the middle of the day because there's no real planning behind what they're doing, and their breakfast has been a bit poverty in terms of protein. They get to the end of the day and they're like, oh, how do I get 150 grams of protein in this? Is too hard. And it's like, well, I think you're...
If you weren't eating toast for breakfast, you would get it.
Yeah, if you weren't eating toasts, the big one at the moment is a word I can't say, is croissants. Like, that's the new thing, is having croissants and a coffee. Yes, Shannon, yep. Croissants and a
Croissants? I've
I
never heard
love
it.
croissants.
Why are you saying croissants?
croissant.
But
What, how do you say it?
I say,
croissant.
I say croissant.
Right.
But Rachel says croissant. She replaces the R with a W.
So, to be fair, mate, I'm more Rachel. I've always said croissant. But
Croissant.
yeah, but I said
Croissant.
A croissant. What were you saying? You was one of saying croissant.
croissant. I don't know. But either way, you got the point. You've got the point. So I do have a guy, actually, and hopefully he's listening. I'm calling him out there. I've called him out in the week. I was like, he was having them for breakfast. But to be fair, he was having a protein shake alongside it. But I was like, mate, you're probably just going to feel hungry after that. You're spending 600 calories on breakfast to have one of them. Like, just mix in with some. Anyway, look, I would say the other thing that I would use is, I don't know if you've ever tried this, total 0% Greek yogurt or skier yogurt. 200 to 300 grams. A scoop
1 scoop.
protein, mix it together like it's Angel Delight. I mean, I think in total it's something like 250, 300 calories. And I think in it, it's got like 60 to 70 grams of protein. I'm like, have that for breakfast or lunch, no cooking. Sorry, breakfast or dinner, no cooking involved. That takes care of large part of your protein for the day. So even people tell me they can't get protein, and I've said that to them, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What you?
Full disclaimer, 0% Greek yogurt and 0% skyr yogurt tastes like absolute ass.
Yeah, shite.
I have to mix it with something for sure, but don't go based off of just what the yogurt tastes like because exactly what Kyle says, if you mix a scoop in with that, it does turn into Angel Delight, and then to give it even more of a what's the word I'm looking for?
Pizzazz. Want some pizzazz?
Pizzazz. Crush up a wee meringue nest and throw it in there as well.
Oh,
And some fruit.
Oh yeah, some frozen
Yeah.
berries. Oh,
yeah.
we're
Grapes.
talking.
I mean, I've went through every iteration of this throughout the years, but I'd say dark chocolate's not a bad shout. You can throw some dark chocolate in it from time. I've thrown some cashews in there. Some fruit's not a bad shout. But again,
Cookies.
it's it's very
Croissant.
bananas.
Croissants.
Yeah, throw a wee croissant in there. All of a sudden
A wee pain au chocolat.
you went from 2.5 grams of protein to 62.5 grams of protein.
1,000 calories.
If you're going to mix up
Word it.
croissant with it, please tag us on Instagram, all of us, because it's definitely worth a share. Yeah, I think that's all I'd say on that.
Aye.
Look, no fans of the question. Oh, sorry, hunger. The last thing I'd say on that is if it's a case where you're not hungry and you've got a protein target, like hunger, like anything, is something that can be trained. Like it's the more you eat and the more you get used to eating, the more like again it becomes a response. If you're somebody, for instance, who doesn't normally have breakfast and you've gone for years and years and years without having breakfast, you're probably not going to feel hungry in the morning. That doesn't mean that you can't eat. You can start off small, and do you know what? After a couple of days, your body starts to get used to the signal and then goes, "Do you know what? We can start eating again," and that starts to kick in.
That drives me wild. People that say, I'm never hungry in the morning. Like, that's because you don't fucking eat.
I am ravenous in the morning. I
First thing
genuinely,
I do is get food.
yeah, breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. Like I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be controversial here. Whilst I do like breakfast, I actually quite enjoyed waiting until 12 o'clock. And I do enjoy a wee bit of intermittent fasting, but I hate calling it intermittent fasting because then it feels like you need to be a wanker and tell everybody you're intermittent fasting, whereas actual fact, I'm just having breakfast at 12.
Like, you're just skipping.
But that's brunch.
I'm not even skipping it, mate. I'm just moving it to 12, like because
Moving it.
I'll still eat like every 2 to 3 hours
So
after
what time you have lunch at?
12. Not at the moment, Shannon. Like, but what I'm saying is, I quite enjoy when I do go through VPs. If I'm going for a fat loss phase, the first thing I'm doing is I'm moving my first meal of the day till 11. Like, I'll be the big jump is normally I have my breakfast at the moment, probably about 8, half 8, like just before work. I'll then not eat again till 12, and then it'll be somewhere like 3, 4 o'clock, and then after that is the evening, right? I'll not go straight from eating at half 8 to eating at 12. What I'll do is probably half 10, 11 at first, and then I'll move it closer to half 11, 12. The latest I've ever pushed it is kind of 2, but I don't like waiting that long. But I think if you've got, most people get hungry in the evening times. Most people, their cravings are higher in the evening times. If you can wait till 12 and you've had your first meal at 12, lunchtime, like the time you get to that wee afternoon slump at 3 o'clock and you've only had like 400 or 500 calories, the amount of flexibility you have for whatever you want after that is, especially if it's high protein. See what we just said about the yogurt, see what we just said about the oats. Fucking listen, people. Implement. There you are.
Make it happen. Plus, I would also like to say as well, try and get your protein in as early on in the day as possible so it doesn't make it more difficult at night. Can you imagine going to bed after just eating a 70 gram of protein meal? Oh,
It
the
rumbles.
discomfort. The discomfort.
Oh.
Oh, big time. So yeah, I think that was a very long-winded answer, but it really went into like good deep detail. And I think a lot of people will definitely take a lot off the back of that. Are we wrapping it
Well
up?
done, team.
That's been our inaugural, is that how you say it? Biofit with us episode is complete.
Shannon was buzzing to clap for us, so if we can't change it to biofit with us, it'll just be clap with us with Shannon.
I wanted the B 3-in-1. He said no.
We don't get 3-in-1s in Glasgow.
Oh,
What's that?
chips, curry sauce, and rice. It's a big dish
Oh,
over
is that in
here
the bag?
in a tray. We're
And
not
a
animals.
we get curry sauce, chips, curry sauce, and rice here, but we don't call it 3-in-1.
Just got chips,
Yeah.
sauce, and rice.
We
But
just call
we're
it chips, curry sauce, and
3-in-1.
rice.
No, No, they think they're unique over here. You get 3-in-1s, 4-in-1s. I think at best you can get 5-in-1 or something like that. Like I think you start to add like chicken and stuff into it there. Get your protein.
That's in your 4-in-1.
That's what did I just say there?
Shredded chicken.
What did I just?
Get the protein in.
I was going through the layers, Shannon. I said you go from 3-in-1s to 4-in-1s to 5-in-1s. I said I think you start adding chicken, and you got offended, and you were like, "Oh, "There's a four in
Yeah,
one."
because the 5-in-1 isn't the chicken adding. I don't know what you're on about there. 4-in-1 adds the chicken or the beef to it.
Thanks for
Then you got
listening,
a spice
guys.
bag. Then you got a lunchbox.
Gary, where can we
Um,
find you?
Oh, he's ready for this.
Right, go on. I'm bracing myself.
Gary_Biofitness.
Say it again for the people at the back.
Gary_Biofitness.
There you go. Shannon, where can they find you?
Shan_biofitness. I actually don't know if I'm Shan or Shannon.
It's Shan with 2 N's. Remember
Two
that.
ends, yes.
You got the
Someone stole my name.
you got the opportunity to get Shannon_biofitness back, but you said you didn't want it, so
No, because I've already built this one up because of Instagram taking away my original one.
but you don't need to do anything differently. We can just change your name if you
Just
want
change
to.
the name.
Shannon. It doesn't need to be a new page.
I think
I
this is.
thought you wanted me to take back the old page. I was like, no, I have this one now.
Right, this sounds like a conversation for
I was going to say this is
Yeah.
the meeting worthy
Yeah.
conversation. Now, Kyle, where can they find you?
Kyle_biofitness. Thanks for listening, guys. Speak to you soon.
See you on the next one.
Bye.